on a first-class road trip with your team, Prime Sport handles all the X's and O's you need for tickets, hospitality, parties, hotels, and more. To book your Prime Sport travel package, visit primesport.com today.
Breaking news on Anquan Boldin.
Yeah, Anquan Boldin, finally Baltimore gets their receiver. Anquan Boldin goes along with a fifth-round pick to the Baltimore Ravens in exchange for Baltimore's third and fourth. So essentially the way the deal breaks down, Boldin for the 3, and they flop the 4th and the 5, which is a great deal for both teams. They get rid of them. They wanted to move Boldin along. They've got extra draft picks, and Baltimore gets that big receiver who can run with the ball after the catch and add toughness to an already tough team.
Like you said, it's a good deal for both teams because Arizona, and giving up a very good player, they may not have gotten the second rounder that maybe they could have gotten last year had they moved him, but they get a third and fourth rounder. Those are high-value picks where you find a lot of quality players. They had extra picks right there. Now they've got maneuverability in the draft. Now, in terms of Baltimore, this is a big deal for them. They get a pick on top of a good player in Anquan Boldin, a great locker room guy. He will fit into that culture that they have in Baltimore. This is what they need to help bolster that offense.
Well, to me, this is how you use free agency right here. You draft a quarterback, you go get a Ray Rice, you build a young offensive line through the draft. You have one real big vacancy, one gaping need. You have a guy like this. He's not super old. You're going to get production out of him, and you go and make the move. They draft well. You're parting with the third-round pick. That's not the end of the world for them. They hold on to their first-round pick. They continue to add assets that way. And to me, this reshapes that division now. I mean, this is a Baltimore team that just quite hasn't been able to get over the hump. They don't score enough to win when they really need to, when they face a team like the Colts that's going to put up 21 points, even on their quality defense in Baltimore. So it's huge. Joe Flacco needed a guy who he could throw the ball up to and know he's going to get it. Flacco's great to the outside. Over the middle, he hasn't been so good. Boldin will go up and get the ball.
He needed a tough guy because if you're going to go win in Pittsburgh, you got to have a tough team. And Baltimore's a tough team. Derek Mason's a tough player, but maybe some of the other receivers weren't tough. You needed a guy to go in there and meet the challenge. You need a guy to go to Cincinnati. Cincinnati surprisingly beat people this year with their toughness.
Yes.
They were much tougher than most people give them credit for. So I think this fits the personality of the Baltimore Ravens under John Harbaugh, Cam Cameron's offense, and I think that the only question remains about Anquan Boldin. Is he going to remain durable? Can he stay healthy? Because he is a physical football player.
And if you're Arizona, you look at it and say, you know what, we got the best years out of him. We drafted him well. We found him. We developed him. But we gave the money to the other guy. We gave the guy the money to Fitzgerald. We've got Breston coming up. And we get a couple assets for him.
They tendered Breston a 1. So obviously they told the world, we like Breston better than Boldin. They only took Boldin for a third, and they traded him for a third. If somebody wants Breston, it's going to take a first-round pick. So they clearly made that statement with what they did with the tenders.
And keep in mind, like the Jets, the Ravens were a Final 8 team. This is how they were going to have to maneuver things. They just could not go out and poach in free agency. So they have to make a trade to upgrade their roster this way. Again, another deft shuffling of the shells by Ozzie Newsome. But we also talked about Arizona going through a transition and maybe going through a rebuilding process. This adds another few pieces in the draft for them to kind of retool because they could lose Carlos Dansby. They could lose Antrell Roll. They lost Kurt Warner. It's another way for them to kind of restock that roster with youth.
And I just got a text. He essentially got a new contract.